And you just want to make sure that they're always in a good space. I think there's a time and place for stuff like that, though.
Um, since your second year, last year, toward the end, there was a rough stretch where you got to keep the guys' morale together or find different ways to keep them motivated. It's happening on the other end now. Earlier in the season with a younger team, like how do you keep them like engaged and not like get caught up, the W's and L's?
I think we have a group that that wants to get better, that enjoys practice, enjoys each other, obviously likes to compete. And so, I've never really sensed, oh man, we got to make sure that these guys haven't hit the wall yet. I think, you guys got to challenge them every day with them understanding that, the season for everybody is a process. And just because you start off slow doesn't mean it's going to continue. Just like if you start off fast, there's no guarantees. But the example right now is like you look at Creighton, it was top 25, and they've lost 5 in a row now. Like they're 6-5. And so there's no guarantees for anything. We try to take a day-by-day approach, and if you're focused on getting better today, you don't get consumed with the past or the present. You worry about the now. And that's our goal is, how much better can we get today? And then hopefully that will translate, tomorrow and then down the line with the wins and the production.
The thing that stood out to me listening to the radio shows your comment on belief without success. Walk me through kind of what your idea of that is and how you try to get that.
As far as just like believing in everything to be without seeing, yeah, I think it's life. I think it's what everybody goes through. I think, if hard work determined success all the time, there'd be everyone would be successful. It's just that's not the way it works. And so you have to have a sort of belief and resolve about you in basketball, in academics, and in life, and just understand that, hard work gives you an opportunity, but it doesn't guarantee success. And the thing I touched on, we do have a lot of guys that are faith-based in our locker room. And so my point is, to me, faith helps you get through the good and the bad. That's something that you can lean on as support in tough times. There's something that you can rely on. And so, my point to them is that's when you use faith in times of doubt, right? That's when you're up against it and it feels like, man, this is never going to get better for me or for our team. You have to fall back on something and rely on something. And so that was kind of my 2 cents. And it's just like with the hard work. It's like when you consistently put it in, that's when you fall back, and that's what should give you confidence. It's not necessarily that hard work is going to produce perfect results, because we all know that doesn't happen. But what the hard work should produce is the confidence that if I continue to do this and I continue to show up every day and I can continue to, whether it's watch film or get up shots, over time, Wilder's going to find this level. And I'm going to be able to have success, and it's going to put me in a better position so when the opportunity presents itself, I'm able to capitalize on it. And I think it's just always instilling that in our guys. And I would do that even if we were winning. If we were on a 5-game win streak, you can't stop doing what got you there, because we all know it can be gone in a minute. But I just think that's got to be a value system, not only with our team, but just in day-to-day life.
With the move that you made with Taurus and Jaden, when a young guy, all of a sudden maybe not just for one game isn't playing very much, and he was a starter, how do you keep him like engaged and not think like, well, I did something like wrong or anything like that, or even with
Right.
any of the freshmen?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the good part about it is Jaden gets it. Jaden understands, sometimes, especially at this level, like depending on opponent or production, that especially as a young guy, it is what it is sometimes. And so there's no issue there. There's no problem there. I mean, he was in the gym yesterday, getting up shots. His attitude's fine. But I've also told him sometimes, because of our circumstance with having 2 guys out, that's going to afford minutes to more people. It's also a fine line with, the expectation of, oh, I'm just going to get minutes because I need to get minutes because of our roster, what it looks like. You can't be like that. Sometimes it has to hurt, and sometimes you have to know, oh, I'm not maybe just giving these minutes because of circumstance. Oh, okay, I got to tighten up a little bit because there can be moves that can be made for anybody, not just him, that if I'm not doing what needs to be done, I just don't get to go out there and just play because there's minutes available. We have to, within our roster, construct a competitive environment where, if you're not doing what needs to be done, I don't care who it is, you're going to have to sit and watch. We got enough guys that, hopefully can go in there and produce. And I did that with Pharrell a bit in Purdue, where it's like you're too good of a player sometimes to have lapses, and I did want him to kind of be mad about it, whether it was mad at me or frustrated or whatever, because I think you have to feel that to value that when you're out there, like that's precious, and you can never take those minutes lightly. And I think that is the hardest thing when you don't have a full roster, to sometimes create that. So I try to sometimes create it, on my own.
How's Delon doing after the game?
He's fine. Yeah, he's good. No, he's good. He's good.
You said that you watched the last 3 minutes of the first half with the guys. What was kind of the message?
Yeah, I think we started it at, I believe we were up 24-22 with like 3:15 left. And my point to them was we had, gone longer in the first half with having a lead and having momentum. And I refer back to, like, every game we always find that time when it happens where we kind of have like that breakdown. And we talk about in timeouts, you have to know how to play with the lead. I think that's so huge. I think in all sports, but playing with the lead, you have to get comfortable with that and then trying to extend the lead. And I wanted to show them how when we talk about details, like, again, why the little things matter. Because in that time span, we had momentum, we had the lead. Realistically, and we talk about it in timeout, we should be going into halftime feeling very good, either extending it and being up whatever, or at worst, tied or maybe down one possession, at worst, and with 3 minutes to go. And to watch us kind of let that slip away in just 3 minutes due to just like two minor things, but like one stacks on the other, which stacks on the other, and all of a sudden you look up and you're going, oh man, we go from being up 2 to like down whatever it was, 9-10 in 3 minutes. And that can be the game, and getting them to understand, like, this is why it can't happen. Like, you have all this stuff in your favor, because now let's say we go into halftime and we're tied at worst, or you're up 1 or 2 possessions. It's a whole different start mentally to the second half, because now our guys are looking at it going, okay, we have the lead. There's a confidence there, the building, the excitement that's there, versus now it's like, okay, we let something slip away. It's their ball starting half. They were up, I think it was 9 or 10. That's a different mindset, because I know what Coach Jans was telling them is, like, we need to have a knockout blow here early so that we don't have to deal with these guys for 20 minutes, right? If we were to come out and gotten a stop and a score and another stop, and all of a sudden now that lead is 2 possessions because it's 6, well, now our confidence is going to be right, and they know, okay, now we're going to have to deal with these guys for 20 minutes. So that fine line, continuing to tell them and teach them and show them that everything matters. And again, at this level, you're trying to beat the 23rd ranked team in the country. You can't have that. It's like, it's not acceptable. And they got to see it, because it did. I thought it affected us. I mean, in halftime, it's like you're trying to rev them up and talk about, okay, fellas, like, we have to, these next 4 minutes are going to be crucial, especially with a team that's probably not the most confident right now. It's different. If they come out and score like they did, and all of a sudden now it goes to 14 or 16 early, that's a gut punch. And so I just wanted to always show them, but like really hit home, like, no more, no more. It's hard enough. We gotta keep with the self-inducing stuff.
The schedule, I mean, you look at it, the 5 losses, but then you look at who you played and their record. I mean, 3 of them combined 29-0 as of the weekend, and then I think only 4 losses. So, some of them a lot of them were on the road or away from season that there's a stretch there where it's like it might not look the prettiest.
Oh yeah, no, I
And you're
knew.
gonna lose
Yeah,
all those games,
yeah,
but,
talking to you guys earlier. I mean, I know what's coming. You obviously don't. I'm not going in to think, oh man, we're going to be on 5, but I know these are going to be tough games. I think 3 of the teams now are top 25, but at the same time, it can't be an excuse, right? We're more than capable of being competitive in each and every one of those games. We go into every game, and my expectation is to play good enough to give ourselves a chance to win. Like I want to win those games. We're good enough to win those games. But now it's like if we can learn. It is going to set us up for January, February when we come to league play. It could set us up for tomorrow. Like now we have to learn from the Mississippi State. Not that Pine Bluff is exactly like, but there's some similarities defensively. And so it's like that's where the teaching has to come into play. That's where the carryover has to come into play. And the longer we go and the more games we play, I've talked to the freshmen about it. It's going to come a point now where you've played enough minutes where you played enough good teams where So now that youth, that you're almost sophomores now, right? That we have to have that mentality. You've been through enough, you've seen it all. You've played against really good defensive. You've played against older physicality. Now it's time. We've got to put those teachings into place, and we've got to now have that and use that experience that we got early, and it's got to pay dividends, starting tomorrow. And just continue that wave. And we got to end December the right way. So now we have momentum going into conference play. But it all starts today in practice and tomorrow with Pine Bluff.